Q&Asa. Game on daily.
Welcome to the world of Q&Asa. I apologise for nothing at all. How are we doing, everybody? Game on, Tonio. You need a new job. I cannot. If I had the money to employ you, Tony, I would consider a rigorous interview process. Island, nobody's seen your mouse dongle. I hope that you find it. Danny Passion Official, welcome. Thank you for being here. I see Tom as well, Alex S, and Wayne. There's loads of people. Oh, I'm a disgrace for leaving it until this late. Replicant as well. Painful discourse, starting it off with a Wii before being outdone by the longest Wii that YouTube will ever allow. How's everybody doing? Tom, you're back. Did you miss everything? Yeah. Thanks everyone for showing up again. I had a lovely time. And no, let's get on with it. It's Q&Asa. We talk about games, talk about topics as they go around if we want to, and anything that you bring up. It's conversational. We have a little back and forth. I say some things, you say some things. You can talk to me, you can talk to each other. You can confess your crimes. Replicant, that's crimes. And yeah, it's back and forth. A nice little chat. Before we get into the show though, quick word from our sponsor. It's Game On Daily, still exists, doing website things. It's there. You can get all the gaming news and stuff. It is still like well supported by Console Creatures and Cog Connected and Lognet and various other people are pumping their articles through there. So if you want to keep up with what's happening within the gaming world, it's a good place to go and have a little look. And it's going to get better, hopefully one day, because there are massive plans that just need millions and millions in funding to come to fruition. So Tom has built a massive ship. Is this a Starfield ship, Tom? We'll get into games. We always start with what everyone's been playing and have a little talk about it. And key to today is I want those of you that are already on Alan Wake to tell me how you're finding that one, because I'm very curious about that. But before we do get into Alan Wake, how the show works, you can talk back and forth like we are. If that's not good enough for you, at some point during the show there will be a YouTube Q&A box that you can stick comments in. You can stick whatever you want in there. At the end of the show we go through those one by one and make sure they're all addressed. Tony, Minecraft is definitely not on live support. Somehow it keeps on going and going and going, getting ever bigger and ever more popular. Nobody knows why, nobody understands it, and nobody can stop it. But yes, Tony, whatever you want. And I am not responsible for the consequences of your actions. That was option 2. Then we've got option 3. Option 3 this week is Discord. So if you want to get your face and or your voice out to the world, jump into the Game On Daily Discord server, stick yourself in one of the waiting rooms, and I'll bring you in for a chat for a couple of minutes to say whatever you want about whatever you want. That is an option that very rarely gets taken up, but it is there and it looks quite cool when people do. Boozy the Clown, welcome, good evening. Hope you're well. Tell me what you're playing while I tell you about option 4. So option 4, if none of those options are good enough and you really must get your message read out immediately, then there is the super chat. What's the minimum super chat price today? Do you know, I can't think of a good number for the minimum super chat price, so I think you will have to hand deliver whatever is most precious to you in the universe as the minimum super chat price today. Whatever's the most precious. It's like the Avengers Infinity Stone thing, except not as generous. It's not going to be like in that Avengers movie where Black Widow and Hawkeye are having a little fight and they both totally fuck up on the requirements and get an Infinity Stone anyway. I'm going to be an arsehole. If you give me something that's not your most precious thing in all the universe, I'm just not going to read your message. There's always an update. Update for Minecraft. Yeah, there's always updates. You wait like a year and they give you a new spider or something silly like that. Tiny updates. Tony, you're looking at guinea pigs and making them scared. Interesting. Are they your guinea pigs? Are you in a pet shop? Yes, Tony, that is very rude of you to terrify small animals. So that's option 4. There might be an option 5 that I've completely forgotten. It doesn't matter. Let's get on with it. Let's talk about some games. Replicant must be roasting, sitting beside all that molten metal. Yeah, it's a good background for those days where I have done my own chili and I do come on covered in sweat. Then I just pretend it's part of the outfit, you know. Illegal Dad, GeForce Now let you down? Please tell me more about this. Tell me what kind of letdown, because I've not had a look. GeForce Now seems like it should be really popular right now in the wake of Alan Wake 2 coming out. In the wake of Alan Wake 2. What a stupid sentence. It was an accident. Forgive me. But in what way has it let you down, Illegal Dad? What's happening? Tony, you're buying dog food for your grandma. Toothless Yorkie. Oh no, you're not your literal grandma. You're not feeding your toothless grandma dog food. It is an actual dog that you're doing it. Good. Dickie, what is my opinion on a really good 4K monitor? I don't know monitors very well. I don't follow it too closely. What I want for myself is an LG OLED screen, so a TV essentially, on a 42-inch OLED to use as my gaming monitor. If you want an actual monitor, what's the one that you've got, Tony, that's so recommended? The Alienware OLED? But it's not a recommendation based on any personal experience. I've not ever seen this monitor myself, so. Boozy the Clown, lots of Starfield, bit of Forza Motorsport. You have to join us on the Sundays for the Forza Motorsport. We sessions of Skate Sim and Party Animals on Friday nights with a bunch of drunken old folks. Good. That's the monitor, Tony. Yeah, I'm sure. Riley, your scalp is itchy. Help. Did you find your mouse dongle? You can't just keep on piling problems on us to help. We have to live us like one at a time. Mouse dongle before scalp. So Tony, that monitor is not perfection because it's ultra wide, and ultra wide is one of mankind's greatest errors. But all of a sudden you have to wait. Oh, you're in a queue. Didn't expect that as an Ultimate member. First time it's happened since joining a month ago. Yeah, I've never seen a queue on GeForce Now. So maybe it has had a handy bump as a result of Alan Wake 2 coming out. Well, I'm sorry the service has let you down. That's very unfortunate. How long does it take to sit in the queue of 100 plus people? Or did you give up at that point? I hear a lot of people saying the Xbox cloud streaming around the world has big queues at the moment as well. And that's not even a good service, so. Tom, you went for a nap around 6 on Sunday and you never woke up. Oh, that's my other question, Illegal Dad. Which tier of membership are you on? Jom. Essential coffee. This is, by the way, the second week in a row where I've, for some reason, done a new background. Illegal Dad, you just bought Alan Wake 2 from Epic just for GeForce Now. Yeah, it's... I see, I think it was Christopher Dring was asking, is it worth getting on the PlayStation or the Xbox? And all of the console war people were very enthusiastically telling him why they should get it for their respective platforms in the comments. And I was just like, no one's even going to mention GeForce Now as an option. Because it's very much an option for Alan Wake 2. So you are the Ultimate member and you've still got a queue. Queue for that 4080. Having a queue for a cloud service kind of defeats the purpose. It defeats some of the purpose. Obviously, there's a few use cases for cloud streaming, but one of the big ones, like you say, is that you don't need to faff about with installs and downloads. It's instantly there to get on and play. So it defeats that purpose. It squashes it flat. But it doesn't defeat the fact that GeForce Now will play your Alan Wake 2 fully path traced 60 frames per second and all the rest of it. So, Tony, you're going to wait for a sale on Alan Wake 2. Is it coming to Steam? It will come to Steam. So, am I back now? Fortunately, you alerted me to a connection problem very quickly. But I don't know at what point I cut off. I was giving Tony a very eloquent answer to his question. So what was, how far did it go? How many of my words did you catch? What did I say about It wasn't even Tony. I don't know. It's just about GeForce Now. Illegal Dad, they're increasing the price for GeForce Now, so they should at least improve the service. Are they increasing the price? Good timing indeed, Kratos, except now you look guilty. The fact that the stream went down as a consequence of your arrival. Alright, prime suspect. 4.2 words. That's not many. That is not many. Yes, I've got a new background anyway. Second week in a row. I used to do them for probably at least a year. I did a new background every week from different games as a guessing game. I don't do that anymore, but I don't know. I saw a prime opportunity to get a new one. Slapped it back there, and now you've got a new background. What a treat for everyone. Wayne, you've changed your name. You've added Wayne so that when I call you Wayne, people understand what's going on. When you were young, you had to keep putting 50p in the meter for electricity. That sounds stressful. Yeah, it does. Christmas, we used to know friends. Don't feel like sad and that. Everybody's friends. Yeah. And leave it at the price is locked for 6 months if you joined before November. I decided I wasn't using it and I don't have my subscription at the moment. But with a view to bringing it back when it's useful to me. Because I do like that service, and it is tempting to test Alan Wake 2 and stuff, just to show people this is how you should be playing it. But I do have a PC that obviously runs it slightly better as well, so it is a little bit of a frivolous subscription for me, along with so many other of my subscriptions. Too much time on... Who? What? Who's got too much time on their hands? Dave Mack. Who on earth could you possibly be talking to? I have never met anyone in all the universe that had too much time on their hands. Unless you're talking about a young Wayne who had run out of 50p's. Then all of a sudden you might have loads of time on your hand because you didn't top up the meter. Present day. That's wild, crazy talk, Dave. Tom, you had to bed sit 5 years ago where you still had to put £1 in for electricity. It's still a thing. Well, cool. I've got nothing to add to that. Like, I'm surprised. Make sure that I mention the queues when I tell people. Illegal Dad, I will. I don't tell people. I'm not here to tell everybody. I'm not shilling the service or anything. So if GeForce Now comes up in conversation and my latest information is that there is queues to use the good version of it, then I will surely mention that. Either you would have so many coins in a chest like a pirate. Except, well, yeah, that's fine. The idea of it running out at 3 AM would ruin your life. That's a perfect time to run out of electricity. The idea of it running out at like 9 PM, that would be a problem. 3 AM, you should be asleep. A cheap shithole until, well, a cheap shithole so long as you didn't want electricity for the night. Let's do some game stuff. So, some of you must have played Alan Wake 2. It's the big release that's just happened a few days ago, whenever it was. And a lot of people seem to love it. And some other people pretend to love it. What is that in the background? That's a good question, Bri. That is a good question. That I don't answer for you. It's that coffee at this time of night, Dave. Don't make me shout that out loud. My wife will get mad at me. Riley, you would need to charge your phone so that your alarm would go off in the morning. No, stop yelling. You have no clue about the background. Yeah. No one here has played Alan Wake 2. No. That's like... So none of you are big fans of Alan Wake, the first one either, I'm assuming. I tried the first one and I didn't get along with it, but I tried it a few years after its release. I never tried the remaster that came out last year or whenever. But I played the first Alan Wake and it did not hold up very well at all. So still, it had the atmosphere that people talk about. But I hated the combat. shine a torch, shoot the gun. Got old very quickly. And it just had terrible voice acting and very wooden animation, so I didn't get through the first Alan Wake. But Alan Wake 2 sure looks special in terms of, like, even if you're just in it for the tech demo, it looks worth a play. But it also happens to look like a much better game as well. So, Replicant, you love Remedy games, just not had time for Alan Wake 2 yet. No, I've seen, what is it I've seen that you're playing? You play a lot of stuff. You get through games pretty quickly, I know you do. Illegal Dad, you like the Alan Wakes from 2010. And Boozy, Alan Wake was decent, but the character was a wazzock. A wazzock. Lords of the Fallen, that's it. I saw you say that you really like Lords of the Fallen. That it was maybe your favourite Souls-like or one of them. Which is interesting because that bit of feedback stands quite in contrast to other people's feedback around the game. I hadn't mostly heard good things about it. But you saying that you love it is a significant review to me. So, oh, that's interesting. Replicant plays a lot of games and a lot of good games. And knows things. So if Replicant's saying that it's worth playing, maybe I should be getting on that as well. After Remnant 2. And many other things. Isla, what's all the A's for? What's happening? Tony, you see more PlayStation fans playing it since they don't have any exclusives. That's a strange thing to say because Spider-Man is like a week and a half old. Remnant 2 is the priority, yeah. Dingle. Hang about. Why are we saying dingle? Don't just say weird noises to confuse me. Alan Wake 1 is a very easy game. You can breeze through it for the story and then jump into 2. Yeah, maybe I should. Maybe I should. I don't know. There's a lot to play though. Maybe I should jump onto Fortnite and do the special marketing Alan Wake recap. Most have not only finished it, but platinumed it. Not most people, Tony. Just get your face out of Twitter. I've played a lot of Spider-Man and I haven't finished yet. Some people have finished it. But normal human beings, like there's a lot of people in the world that don't play 12 hours a day. And I'm not saying that to like diminish anybody here that does manage to play that much and that has finished and platinum Spider-Man. I'm not far off, I think, but not far off the end. And the platinum kind of comes with it, so not that I'm necessarily going to bother with that. So, Tony, get your face out of Twitter. Silly things. Right, so nobody's playing Alan Wake 2 at the moment. Illegal Dad, you might go back to Starfield because DLSS is coming. Yeah, so... have you finished Spider-Man Replicant? Illegal Dad, it's not just DLSS coming that makes the Starfield patch interesting to me. It's the fact that they're fixing the HDR in it. If you play Starfield on PC at the moment, it uses auto HDR. I don't really know what's going on with the Xbox version in terms of HDR, but it's definitely, like, it's a bodge. And now, alongside DLSS, they are fixing HDR in the game properly, so I also fully intend to get back onto it. But when the patch comes over to the Xbox and the Game Pass version. You're still looking for the dongle. How are you coping? So your buddies on PlayStation 5 Platinum already. You play Overwatch 2 together. Wow. There you go. Illegal Dad, the GeForce Now version of Starfield didn't have HDR. The PC version doesn't have HDR, so that's not a GeForce Now problem. On the PC, it flicks into auto HDR. It doesn't have native HDR in the game at all. So if they're bringing it in properly, then hopefully it'll also be on GeForce Now. HDR on GeForce Now is it can be slightly complicated. But You are yelling. This is your favourite show. Wait a minute. So, speaking of like Spider-Man 2, as we're talking games we're playing, I put quite a lot of time into that. Obviously, I'm putting a lot of time in it to review it, so I'll have like in-depth thoughts in video form in the near future. But I'm still in the same place as last week, where I have to say, when it's good, damn, is it good? Like, it's so freaking good when it's good. And that's probably about 20% of the time that you spend on the game. And the rest of the time is not so good. There are some things that are specifically bad about it. Damn, is it good when it's good? Replicant, you don't do collectibles and you need a ton for the Spidey plat. Yeah, there's... This game's equivalent of the bags is the bit that's making me think, maybe I won't bother with the platinum. It's not really spoilers to say what they are, but you know what I mean. The nerd collectible. Not sure if I'm going to bother with those or not. The first Spider-Man on PlayStation, I didn't get a platinum. All I needed to do to get it was like fight crimes in one district to complete the map. I was like, nah, don't care about platinums. Tom, you're going to give Lords of the Fallen a go as well. Such a shame that Sea of Stars got overshadowed by Starfield at the time. Yeah, Sea of Stars is still there though. It's the kind of game that when things quiet down, as like December passes and January, before 2024 really gets rolling, then people can have an opportunity to go and check out Sea of Stars. Myself included, that's on my list of get to at some point. Definitely not the only game that got overshadowed though. Like loads of stuff that came out around Starfield and Baldur's Gate 3 just got crushed and crumpled. Boozy, Starfield looked great on Series X. Your YouTube feed has 100 reviews telling you how outdated and mediocre it is. You played Starfield for 200 hours. Oh yeah, the brutally honest reviews. Brutally honest reviews. So it's like, brutally can't even be a popular SEO term. It's not like people are searching for brutal reviews, and yet it became the term that everyone used. You're right, Starfield can look stunning at times, but it's going to look even better when the HDR is fixed. Nom 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 nom. Illegal Dad. See, Assassin's Creed 6 got overshadowed, maybe, but I bet it still did crazy numbers. So you're right that it, like, in core circles didn't get people whispering too much, but I bet a lot of people played it because they always do. Kratos, when are they making another Gears of War already? They're making it right now, Kratos. It's quite far along in development, I would think. Quantum Era got overshadowed. Quantum Era got more attention than a lot of games. Poor Quantum Era. Let's do a little bit more on games we're playing and then we'll do the Gears of War thing, because that's a kind of topic for today anyway. You meant Armored Core 6. This is a weekly. It goes round and round. I must admit, I actually fell for that properly. I just assumed you meant Assassin's Creed because Mirage came out around the same time. You meant Armored Core 6. I think Armored Core 6 probably did very well for an Armored Core title. And obviously there's many factors that go into that, but in terms of its development budget and in terms of previous sales of that series, it being off the back of From Software's recent esteem and pedigree probably means that it sold a fair amount more than a typical Armored Core game, despite also being overshadowed by other games that came out in that window, if that makes sense. Something's playing for it and something's going against it. All in all, I suspect that Bandai Namco are quite happy with its performance. Tom, you wish you could turn off the really light white foggy filter thing on Starfield. And so, Tom, you can on PC. There are many filters. Starfield, the best mods that I've got I can't remember what it's called. I'll DM you though. But Starfield is rendered in normal mode, and they have a load of LUTs and filters that they specifically put over the top of it to make it look like filmic, that give it, so in some scenes it's like horrible green wash, and in other scenes it's just that weird dull grey. But they've done it deliberately, and there are mods that will strip it off, and I've got a good one that kind of strips off the filters but maintains a degree, like it's aware of the brightness values and different things, and kind of keeps the look and feel as it should be, whilst making the colours far nicer. So maybe HDR will fix things up, but as it's a deliberate, like, artistic choice, I think it will still look pretty bad with HDR relative to using a mod like this. Oh no, you don't have a PC powerful. I'm afraid you're doomed then. If you're playing on the Xbox, then you just have to make do with light grey caves. It genuinely does look a lot better with a very light mod. HDR will be fine. HDR will be fine in episode 13, but it won't fix the artistic choices. Caves aren't light grey. Get the fuck out of here. You're a troll. You're trolling me. The caves are not dark. You can't dismiss facts in that way. Q&Asa looks like shit. I had no particular expectations for Q&Asa, so that doesn't super surprise me. Caves look cool. See, I can allow you that episode 13 because that's subjective, and obviously someone at Bethesda agrees with you. Whoever made the caves that color likes that color. But for me, I go into a cave and go, well, this is broken. And a lot of other people also went, well, this is broken, and thought that it was like raised black levels and things like that, which it turns out it wasn't. It was just a weird artistic choice. Tom, you're trying to zoom in on enemies and not being able to see them because of the filter. Starfield just needs ray tracing tits. All of the games do, Tony. Episode 13. There's no need for the insults. And that cuts deep because I am so broken. Starfield filter is bad news. It's weird. It's multiple filters, scene by scene. And I say this like, I guess in certain circumstances it nails it. Certain things just look exactly right. I don't know. My game looks so much better after fixing those filters. But with its native HDR implementation coming up, we shall see. Pantera song that, which one? Anyway, so that was Spider-Man. We talked about that. We played a bit of Forza at the weekend. There weren't enough people. Sunday community streams, oh, they're in jeopardy. Massive risk if we don't get enough people to fill out a 24-person racetrack. What else? Not crawling back to you, episode 13. Modern Warfare 3 early access campaign is live. Yeah, I don't care. Appreciate the information, but Modern Warfare is still not a thing that I'm going to be doing. It's all good. Episode 13, you're so sensitive. Any idea when the Starfield DLC Shattered Space drops? No, they haven't given any kind of indication on date, but I would think sometime next year, which is a vague, broad window. But yeah, next year sometime. You do not want me to be your rock, episode 13. Oh, I am pretty strong. Pretty strong. You'd love to play Sunday, you miss it. Yeah, everybody understands you're very busy with a newborn for the time being. You've got another week of parental gaming leave. Then you're expected to be back. Any games that I like to play with chat? Yeah, that's what we do on Sunday. We play games. I like to play pretty much anything. Have I tried Endless Dungeon? No, I want Endless Dungeon. Wait a minute, Isla, why are you upset? Episode 13, 5 weeks today. Yeah, I'd say another week off is enough for you. Endless Dungeon looks fun. Let's bring up a trailer because we haven't had a trailer yet. I keep on seeing it advertised on Twitter and stuff. I'm not typically a roguelike fan. Apart from Hades, obviously. But this does look pretty good. It says boom all over the place. There's lots going on. It describes itself as, I think, part roguelike, part tower defense. Oh, I remember this trailer. This is a terrible trailer. The most off-putting thing about the whole game is this trailer. Because it looks like some blend between Overwatch and Fortnite. Which fortunately the game isn't. Oh, you don't want Sundays to go away. Sundays isn't actually going away. Legal Dad, what do I think of that new Blizzard game Odyssey that might be revealed tomorrow? Well, that's a good question. I probably don't want it to be revealed yet. My reason being, I want Microsoft to step in and fix Blizzard before if that game comes out too soon, then it will be the money hungry greedy Blizzard that we know. And I want them to calm their tits on the monetization before that game comes out. So I think survival games in general, I don't particularly get along with them, but I think as a genre, it's ripe for someone to do a good one. Like, it's ripe for someone like the old Blizzard to do a good one, to streamline the boring bits, really like capture the essence of what makes a survival game fun and bring it to the forefront of a game in the way that they did with strategy games and things like that in years gone by. So really, Odyssey should be very exciting, but Diablo 4 was supposed to be exciting, and Overwatch and all the rest of them, and I've kind of lost faith in Blizzard, and I'm hoping that now that they've been acquired, they can restore that faith. I would like Odyssey to be held back until the point that Blizzard are a good studio again, if that makes sense. And I don't know if that's... I don't know if Microsoft are going to make Blizzard better or not, but that's my slim hope for Odyssey. I want them to. How long before episode 13's baby is old enough to play Forza? I mean, probably wouldn't come last already, so if Sundays went away, weekends wouldn't be nearly as great. Yeah, the whole day's not going to go, Tom. You need to turn up for these community streams. You've not been there yet, have you? Nyla, you're literally playing Switch right now. Replicant, you think it can be revealed and Microsoft can still calm them down with the money grab? Yeah, that's true. That is true. It's not like they're going to reveal it with the battle pass, is it? So they could reveal the game and have some of that good stuff at the surface. And then have Microsoft work with them on the commercialization. Alex, they increased the GeForce price for new subs. If you're an old subscriber with an ongoing uninterrupted payment, you'll not be affected by the price change. I will be affected by the price change if I resubscribe, but I'm okay with that. I am okay with that. Illegal Dad, you hope it's single player with optional multiplayer? There's a question. I'm not sure if I do. I'm also like antisocial, and I get the need for, or the desire for single player games. I don't know that genre lends itself to single player very well. I think like The Forest are single player, aren't they? So, Isla, you have a funny story about Pokemon. Only, of course you can. But if I don't find it funny, you're not allowed to get upset. Because it's Pokemon. If T-Rex plays, he will make a worse mess than you do. That seems unlikely, Tony. That seems unlikely. Kratos, you don't know about that. With Blizzard getting better under Microsoft. I don't either, Kratos, but it's my slim hope. It's the only, like, the Microsoft Activision Blizzard King deal and acquisition The only thing that I've hoped from start to finish is that it works out improving Blizzard. It's funny in that you will be good about not liking the game. Yeah, Isla, you're very welcome. You get into Discord and you can tell people whatever it is about Pokemon. Kratos, episode 13. You're still waiting this generation as you'd own an Xbox already. Alex, you're playing lots of Dead Space remake. It's fantastic. Yeah, I played a tiny bit of it when it came out. It's on the backlog to play one day. Remake Station. Why is Sony killing Bungie and its other studios? That's one of the topics for today. I implied that we were going to start on the Gears of War topic, and then that didn't happen, and I don't know how we got to where we are right now. But let's rejig it to the order that I had in mind, and we'll talk about the Sony stuff before we talk about the Gears of War stuff. But before that, I think Isla's going to appear on Discord. So Isla, put something in chat when you're ready, and I'll know. Dead Space is really good. Loads of people love the Dead Space remake. Gears 5 is rebooting. Gears 5, nice, a remake station. The topic around Gears is Cliff Bleszinski, creator of Gears, has said that he would like to see it rebooted in a manner similar to God of War. And we'll make some talking points out of that a little bit later on. Isla's ready. Right, Isla, you won't be on stream as soon as you're in this room. So, say some words to me though, so that I can hear you, or not. I cannot. So, that's the thing that's going to happen soon, but until I hear Isla in my ear, it's not happening yet. That might be that I broke something though. Oh, Discord, you pain in the ass. One moment, everybody. Oh, that should work. Okay. Just, I don't know, we seem to have Discord trouble here. Isla, you're not flashing up green though, so I think you're not saying anything yet. It's occasionally flashing like you're moving. Oh, I don't know. No, I can't hear you. Oh. Should I be able to hear you? No, I shouldn't. Wait there, I know what's happening. Now keep talking. You're not live yet, but you're about to be. Are you ready? Is everybody else ready? Are people in chat ready to hear this story? Okay, where's the button? Where's the button? Where's the button? You're live now.
Okay. Wait, so you can hear me now? Oh, look, I'm on TV. Okay. Yeah, I have a really funny story. It's not that funny. It's just a sad story about Pokemon that you might find funny because you don't enjoy Pokemon and you think it's a terrible game. Oh, wait, I can hear myself on my phone. Shut up, me. So my story is that I
know you said 60 seconds, but you don't need to talk really fast. It's okay.
That's my normal talking speed. So I was playing Pokemon and I was trying to do all of the gym leaders. Yes, Alex, this is Isla. Hello. All of the gym leaders and all of the there's like these Titan things that you have to fight, and there's also like the enemy team. They're called Team Star. So I was trying to do the ice gym, and it's at the top of this mountain with all of this ice and snow, and it was like quite a struggle to get up there because it's like open world, so you kind of have to find the correct path, but you could also kind of like force your way up the wrong path if you wanted to. So it was like quite a lot of effort to get to the top. And then when I got to the top and I like started the challenge, they have this thing where you have to do the gym challenge, like it's like a random mini game before you can actually do the fight. And the challenge for this one, okay, I'm not a massive fan of this either. But the challenge for this one was that you have to snowboard down the hill. But I ran out of time because it took me so long to get to the top of this stupid mountain. So I put my Switch in my bag and took it to work with me, and I was going to play it at lunch. And then at some point, I guess something in my bag turned the Switch screen on, and I saw that it was on, but I didn't have time to sort it out. And then when I got home, I was like, right, fuck, because I didn't manage to play it at lunch anyway. So when I got home, I was like, right, fuck, let me do this challenge so I can actually get on and get this gym badge. And I talked to the guy, and he was like, hey, well done on completing the slope. I was like, what? Like, that's weird. Has it bugged? I kept trying to talk to him. He was like, you've done it. Like, now you can go do the gym fight. And I was like, that's really weird. And I realized what must have happened is that this stupid mini game is like so like idiot baby proof that literally the items in my bag completed the challenge for me when I accidentally let my Switch come on while I was at work.
That, yes. That is funny. That's Pokemon. This is why I can't. There's always been this little part of me that thinks I should play a Pokemon game. They're legendary IP that I should be aware of, but also they do still seem to make them for small children, and I'm not sure that it's worth the time. And now you've confirmed that I should not touch Pokemon. So
well, there's lots of good stuff about it too, but that was like the perfect example of like why it's also kind of trash in a way.
Yes. Cool. Thanks. I'm going to get rid of you now. So that they won't hear you anymore, and I can still see that you're there. She's still in Discord and able to disrupt me as we go. But that's it. That's how the Discord thing works. So anybody else that wants to show their face and or voice and tell us things, you can do that. That's how Discord works. Very nice. So what you learn is that you don't have to use the controls to play the game. Yeah, Pokemon, you can accidentally turn the Switch on and the game will complete itself. Right, let's move on to the PlayStation topic. The PlayStation topic, or the Bungie topic. Yeah, thank you, Isla, for coming on. So it took quite a bit of effort to set up all of the Discord stuff and things like that, so it is nice to use it occasionally. Same as it's nice to bring up the occasional trailer and all the rest of it. Like, I'm sitting right at the one side of the YouTube stream specifically so that I can bring things up as we go. So it's nice to have the opportunity to. No 1440p HDR 60 stream, not for this, Tony. The reason that this one is 1080p and simple is that it's conversational. So the higher resolution streams have more latency. It makes it harder to have a back and forth conversation with you all. On this one, the most important thing is that we can have a little chat. So you've been waiting for this since TV. Been waiting for what, the Sony bit, the troubles. So I think Remake Station came and said, why are Sony doing this? What's happened at Bungie is they laid off like 100 people, which was, I can't remember how big Bungie are and what percentage of their studio that was, but it's significant. They got rid of a load of people. I was going to say they've cited these reasons, but I don't think they have publicly cited their reasons. The reasons that have been shared by, I think, Bloomberg and other outfits is that Destiny 2 is currently down by about 45% on its like annual revenues. I don't know if this is year on year or if it's against their own forecast, but it's massively dropped in revenues for that. They are down on pre-orders for the expansion pack and have delayed it, and seemingly having some trouble making Marathon a good game as well. So lots of troubles at Bungie that mean that they've got rid of 100 people, but obviously Bungie are a relatively recent acquisition of Sony. So what do we think is going on? Whose fault is it? The story is more remarkable because when Sony acquired Bungie, they paid over the odds by about $1.2 billion, I think, over the value of Bungie. They paid an additional $1.2 billion specifically as like a staff retention thing to make sure that they kept the talent in the studio that they were buying. And now those people are gone, and it is pretty disgusting, isn't it? Kratos, in February, Xbox laid off 10,000. You're not worried about 100 Genesis. See, you're right that Xbox do it too, and that sucks. For me, what stood out against it, like in contrast to all of this stuff that's going on, is Larian. So Larian, Immortals of Avium gets performance boosts on Xbox. Come back to that. So Larian said they were really pleased with the success of Baldur's Gate 3. Thanks to that success, they can keep making games like that and they can keep on all their staff and all the rest of it. Which is how you'd want a studio to run in like an ideal world. They have success, they use that success to keep on their staff, give them their job security and keep making games. But for whatever reason, that's not how the big corporations are running, is it? You just noticed that I have the mug. Yes. So Replicant blames the Series S. A lot of people, there's a couple of like different factors that go into the industry-wide downsizing and redundancies and all the rest of it. One of them being that gas games are potentially declining. A lot of studios put a lot into gas games as a concept, hired and bloated themselves up, and then realized that actually the market can't grow to sustain that. Is one given reason. Another one is partially related, that video games in general were very much up during COVID, during lockdown and all of that kind of stuff. And all of these studios bloated themselves up for that additional demand. And then that demand has shrunk. It's gone back to kind of pre-COVID levels now. So they're all downsizing as a result. Replicant, you think that Sony is doing a hard pivot away from gas? It's an interesting one, isn't it? Because it obviously follows on from last week's news with Connie Booth leaving and all of the reports of turmoil within Sony about games as a service, whether they should be, whether they shouldn't, whether the developers that they have are happy to do it or not. Is anyone looking forward to Marathon? Tom, are they declining, or is it just a player ceiling and there's more gas games now? Not to mention, well, that's a fair question as well. So, is the total number of people playing games as a service games diminishing, or is it just that market is kind of capped and it's getting progressively more saturated, or there's just less room for newcomers because people aren't leaving their Fortnites and whatever? What is it people are always bringing up that they are tall? I do not do that. I do not. I do occasionally. Can you clip yourself and put it on Twitter? Of course you can. It's yourself. You own the rights to your own face. Replicant, it's all speculation, but something doesn't feel right with Sony just now. You're beginning to think that Jimbo isn't retiring for family time. It's still like the inevitable result of them not talking about the future at all. The question is like, it's just spiraling, isn't it? Nobody knows what Sony are doing because Sony won't tell anyone what they're doing. So you get all of these murmurs and rumours of trouble underneath the surface. Maybe there's truth to it, and maybe there's not. But with Sony not saying a single thing about what they're doing, it's pretty hard to guess. Sony in a panic is funny. I don't know. I like the thing that made Larian stand out from all of these other studios that have made redundancies is that they're independent and they are not answering to a board of shareholders. Or are they publicly traded? I don't know. But either way, I like the way that they're operating. And that's a firm mark against industry consolidation, because an inevitable consequence of consolidation is that they end up very much in the corporate world where some executives in a room and some shareholders go, oh, this many billions in revenue. Why isn't it all in my pocket? We're paying staff. Let's have less of those then, and I'll keep the money. Yeah. Kratos, you never listen to rumours, you just wait for actual news, not this way. Yeah, I'm not a fan of speculation and rumours in general. I would like to know what Sony are doing, though. Would be interesting. And the downsizing and the redundancies is actual stuff that's happening rather than speculation on what if, I guess. Tony, do I know about that light bulb companies and how they all decided not to make bulbs that lasted longer than a certain amount of time? Yes, there's been various examples of this kind of skullduggery in the past. Sony's just boring, they make boring games, and now they don't. Their games are like... I agree with you in that I would like to see them diversify more and go back to... This is not just Sony, really, but go back to the more risky, smaller games, potentially, and more diverse. But that doesn't mean that the games that they are making are bad or boring, or I want less of those. I just want everything all at once. All of the games. Baz, your girlfriend completed Modern Warfare 3 just over 3 hours. Well worth the money. I'm not even like against that. except if you are a campaign only player and you're looking at that 70 monies price tag, then you might be a bit irked, I suppose. Baz, is she going to play the multiplayer as well? Binks in the house? I didn't see that. Where's the Binks? Sony has become risk adverse. They definitely have. But is that because, like, are they wrong to be risk adverse in the way that they are? Because development costs sure are expensive and risks are significant. When things go wrong, they go very wrong, which is why this is the good thing about Game Pass is it does mitigate a lot of risk, and Microsoft can make big games and small games and everything in between and do okay on it. But I don't know, you've got an audience of people that are baying for like the highest quality, most polished, best graphics, all of this kind of stuff. And you've got Sony trying to live up to £70 prices because they won't ditch the retail model. It's a like self-fulfilling, ever-perpetuating cycle of... Jim Ryan's virtuous cycle is more of a toxic doom cycle. Alex, the zombie MMO the day before re-emerges with a Steam release date, and the console version is coming with a 1.0 launch. That's a dubious one though, the day before. The trailers and things that they've shown in the past, and apparently their most recent one as well, which we'll see if we can find, kind of smell of bullshit. It would be nice if it turns good. Where is... Who made the trailer? I'm getting all kinds of nonsense channels. Game trailer. 4 months ago, 2 years ago. GameSpot I've got. Yeah, let's do that. So the day before, there's trailers that look like it's going to do everything and it's going to do it pretty. I don't know, I've not seen this particular trailer, but I've seen people criticize it for very much stealing things from other games. Whether that's fair and true or not, I don't know. But it just smells a little bit off, this one. Exactly, remake station. It looks good, but is it real? Is it true that the install of Modern Warfare 3 is over 200 gigabytes? Wayne, that's the PC version apparently. The console versions I think are more like 140, 150 gigabytes, so still pretty substantial. But the PC version is 200 and something. They can't rely on compression in the same way. Episode 13, you don't care about the day before. Oh, I'm sorry, I'll close the trailer then. Episode 13 isn't interested. Days before is going to be rough. Yep, suspect so. But is it gonna... So obviously it's coming out in early access. Is its final destination still going to be rough? Or is it ever going to reach like a state that's comparable to the trailers they've been showing? Is it ever going to become a polished game? This game's doesn't look good. Fair enough. What else have we got? We're nearly done. Show's nearly over. You heard rumours that Marathon is not fun. So Remake Station, that's the other bit. So I don't know how much truth there is to this, but I think it was a Destiny streamer said that Bungie invited a load of Escape from Tarkov streamers. No, it's not actually over yet, Kratos. There's a bit more to go. Bungie invited a load of Escape from Tarkov streamers to sample Marathon in its early state, because Escape from Tarkov is like the biggest kind of pioneer of the extraction genre, and Marathon is supposed to be one of those. So they got a load of Escape from Tarkov streamers to go and play it, and then at the end of the session they asked them, like, how many of you would play Marathon if it came out tomorrow? And the answer was 0. None of them would play it. None of them were that interested, and the feedback was generally pretty negative, which is supposedly, and this is speculation, I don't know if there's any truth to it whatsoever, but supposedly this is a big reason as to why it got delayed. until 2025. Does anyone play any extraction shooters? Does anyone like the concept? And is anyone interested in Marathon as a concept? Because I wasn't at first, not gameplay. When they did the announcement trailer at the PlayStation Showcase thing, which I'll bring up here, I just saw live service and assumed a horrible monetization and wasn't really interested in the concept of an extraction shooter. The ones that are on the market at the moment, Escape from Tarkov is a big one. In that game you have lots of like character progress and level up, and the idea of it is I've not played Escape from Tarkov, so I could be completely wrong, but it's thematically quite Call of Duty, but you go into its world and you get loot and all of that kind of stuff, and you need to survive and escape. In the meantime, other players are in that world and they will gladly kill you and take your gains for themselves, and that is what makes it an extraction shooter. Broadly similar but not that similar is Hunt Showdown that General C Connor used to play a lot, where it's more self-contained. You didn't have progress in the same way. There was some overarching progress, actually, characters you could unlock and weapons and things like that, but in Hunt Showdown you'd have, I think, 3 teams of 3 maybe that would go onto a map, and your objective would be to kill a couple of bosses, so either one or both of them, harvest their DNA, I don't know, whatever you harvest from them, and then escape without being killed by the other players. These are like the core concept of extraction shooters. But I think there's some potential for those to be really fun, even though I haven't found the right one yet. And I think there's some good potential for Marathon to, like, Bungie, for all their flaws, they do style. They have a good sci-fi vibe going on that could work really well. The Division games had a fun extraction game. Yeah, the Division ones are kind of where the concept came in, as far as I know. I think the first Division game with its dark zones is probably what spawned the subgenre of extraction shooter. And Division has a specific extraction shooter coming as well, does it? It's quite, like, the concept is novel and might turn out to be something I really like one day when there's that correct one that I want to get in and play. If they can get, like, the pacing and the loop to feel just right alongside all the pretty graphics and good satisfying gameplay, then maybe it'll be something I play loads of. Welcome, Space Denizen. How's it going? Have you played any of the new wave of little VR games? Vampire the Masquerade one just came out, and a few other things are about. Alex, Remnant 2's first DLC, The Awakened King, arrives later this month. Has a new storyline, area, and much more, and a new class archetype as well, isn't it? I did see the announcement for that. Must get on to playing Remnant 2 really soon. Tom, you'll definitely give Zombies a go when it hits Game Pass. Zombies. As in Call of Duty Zombies. It's the free-to-play one made by the DayZ people. You've forgotten the name. Yeah, I don't know it. I believe you, but I don't know what game that is. Paradise Hotel and Dungeons of Eternity. Can you play Dungeons of Eternity in VR? Oh no, you mean, I know. I'm getting it confused with the one that I showed a trailer of earlier. This is the Quest co-op RPG, isn't it? Yeah, that looks quite good actually. Hunt Showdown is very good. You got it on console but never played it. I think it's either recently come out or it's coming out soon. They're finally doing the Series X and PlayStation 5 update for Hunt Showdown. Wait a minute. Episode 13. Explain this to me. Hunt Showdown, very good. I've never played it. Why does that second sentence follow the first one? Is it good or isn't it? Space Denizen, you played through Spider-Man 2 and you were underwhelmed. I'm enjoying Spider-Man 2 at the moment, but not every aspect of it. Dungeons of Eternity is really fun with pals, yeah. I need to look up actually current state of my treadmill with native Quest games. Because I have, the treadmill comes with an external Right, adapter that lets you play native questings with it, but it was a little bit of a state last time I tried it. They had some issues with a quest version update that broke some of the functionality, and I haven't gone back and checked it since. But as Quest is getting things like Asgard's Wrath 2, it's in my best interest to figure that out, I suppose. Hunt Showdown would be shit in VR. Why would Hunt Showdown be shit in VR? Every game is good in VR, which isn't strictly true, but why would Hunt Showdown be bad? No, it would. I missed a crucial word. Hunt Showdown would be the shit in VR. Okay. Yes, I agree. That's why I was trying to figure it out. Like, what about that game wouldn't work in VR? It would be well cool. Yeah, it would. Replicant, you got Asgard's Wrath 2 for free with your Quest 3. Too many frees. Frees and threes and twos and threes and frees. I don't have it for free because I didn't get a Quest 3. And Asgard's Wrath 2 is it's bittersweet because Asgard's Wrath is a game that you should play, by the way, Replicant. Definitely, actually. It's freaking gorgeous, Asgard's Wrath, the first one, which I think you also got for free, by the way. I think everyone that got Asgard's Wrath 2 also has, on the PC side of it, the first game. You should definitely play it. It's top tier graphics in terms of virtual reality. It's massive, like it's 150 gig download or something, but give it a go. Although it will make Asgard's Wrath 2 a little harder to a little less palatable when it comes out and doesn't look anywhere near as stunning. But still, I'm looking forward to Asgard's Wrath 2. December. Okay, I can do that. I thought we were done with games coming out this year, but I guess not quite. I saw you say that you tried Star Wars Squadrons in VR, and yes, it's amazing, isn't it? What kind of controller are you using? Breacher's got a Quest 3 update. Yes, Breacher's got a Quest 3 update and a PC VR update, and it's coming to PlayStation VR 2 soon as well. I'm too scared to play Breacher's. Breacher's looks like exactly the kind of VR game that I should be playing. Let's bring up a trailer for that. But it's like teams of 5 and I'm scared of people. I'm not scared of people, but I'm just used to people being dickheads. If it was a game in that kind of vein, which I guess Rainbow Six Siege is the closest one, I'm just so used to like people playing those games being utter arseholes that just seeing it in the PC space makes me just assume that those people are arseholes too. This is an old trailer of it with its old graphics, but Dungeons of Eternity is the game that I should be playing. Yeah, true. I should also be playing that. There's loads of games that I should be playing. But Breach is, like, in terms of competitive games, it's supposed to be really good, right? The public lobby's filled with douchebags real quick. Yeah, I'm not there for that. Alex, should you wait for Starfield FSR 3? You haven't played it yet. Remind me what system you're going to play it on, Alex. I don't know that FSR 3 will be like doing a lot on the console. But maybe, who knows? If you're playing on GeForce Now, then no, don't wait for FSR 3. Wait for the patch. So the patch that's coming out in beta on Steam at the moment, maybe wait for that one. But that should be like a couple of weeks, hopefully. Then go on and play it. Private lobbies, yeah. So this is why I need everybody to buy a Quest 3 so that we can do some good multiplayer VR games. And then if you could all get the PSVR 2 as well, we can do some Gran Turismo. Yeah. Are there any decent races in VR? Of course there are, Replicant. But so the reason that I like Gran Turismo is that it's a little easier to set up than the PC ones. But Assetto Corsa and Project Cars 2 or 3, but 2 is the one people like. Those work very well in VR. You can play Dirt Rally. Dirt 2 is a hell of a good VR game. Most racing games on PC do work in VR. You can play EA's games, so the F1 games you can play in VR. The World Rally Championships game that just came out yesterday-ish. Hasn't got VR yet, but it's coming soon. And that'll probably be worth it going. Assetto Corsa has really good VR support system. See, I've got Assetto Corsa and the sequel. I haven't tried those yet. Project Cars 2 was very good in VR. But the thing with the PC ones, I think the PlayStation one that makes Gran Turismo 7 good is that all the menus and things are really snappy. Most PC racers do have fairly substantial load times to go from like menu to race. And load times are like, they're a mild irritant when you're playing Pancake, but when you've got a headset on your face, they're just unpleasant. Yeah, the new rally game on EA Play when it gets VR support. In the meantime, if you can get Dirt Rally 2 cheap, give that one a go too, because... No, you don't, Episode 13. Stop. I mean, unless you're talking about the lenses, the Quest 3 and the Quest Pro's Pancake lenses are delicious. Nobody prefers racing games in Pancake. Nobody. Nobody. I don't believe it. You can't convince me. Unless I see you try a racing game in VR and throw up all over your own body, I'm not going to believe that. For standalone, Space Denizen recommends Dash Dash, which is like Mario Kart as a standalone VR game. Grip and Ballistic NG, is Grip a VR game? Interesting. So Space Denizen, Replicant has a new Quest 3, but also does have a potent PC to pair it with. So anything is on the table when you're making VR recommendations there. Tony is going to have it soon. The new World Rally Championship looks ace. You're tempted to buy it for Pancake and Wheel. Yes, Tom, it does. So World Rally Championships, or WRC, I don't know what the formal name of it is made... It's published by EA, and for years gone by, you'd have a Dirt Rally game come out from Codemasters, and you'd have a WRC game come out that kind of fell by the wayside because the Dirt Rally games were so good. But EA own Codemasters now, and the Dirt Rally team have made this WRC. So, it looks really good. Episode 13, you think VR is a niche and too expensive entry point, but you love me. Of course it's niche, Episode 13. All of the best things are. You can stick your gaming, you can consider it like a little scale where this side, to make it sure it's on camera, this side is super niche and this side is super mainstream. The further towards this side you go, the better your gaming is. Like general rule, broadly, over here, this is like Bejeweled. This is mobile gacha. Over here, this is consoles. Consoles are quite niche, right? You got like 200 million people. 3 billion people over here in the casual place. 200 million people here playing on consoles. Right here at the pinnacle, right here at the best of the best, you got virtual reality, which is really niche. It's like, I don't know, like 5 million people at the most. Probably less than that. And then over here is me. Super niche, running around on my treadmill having more fun than anybody else. And that's probably true outside of video games as well. The best stuff is more niche, I'm afraid. No, that was a very accurate diagram, I'll have you know. Grip does not have proper first person in-cab. Okay. Xbox players eating McDonald's while PlayStation phones are eating steak. Interesting. I had Xbox and PlayStation in the same place on my little chart. Remember, your mum is a huge Star Wars fan and came around to play Vader Immortal on your Quest. She was very excited when Vader comes into it. I haven't played Vader Immortal yet. I've had the first episode of it installed on... I think I've got it installed natively on the Quest and on the PC, ready to play, but I just haven't quite got around to it. Episode 13, I prefer Xbox. Well, over VR? You're drunk, sir. Borderline lonely? Yeah, exactly. It is, Tom. It is. But it is good. Over the PS5. Well, there's a question. Which one do I prefer between the two? It's a dangerous question because it gets with a fanboy frothing at the mouth. So I think I'll just avoid answering it. Sundays prove that I love Xbox in a way. So, well, yeah, I do. Episode 13. Oh, fuck. May have had a disconnect there. May have not. Game Pass is proving its value by allowing everybody to play. Yeah, there was a buffer. Sorry, episode 13. So the reason that Sundays are leaning so Xbox heavy is because the Xbox games are on Game Pass, so everybody has them and you can play them, and that's a massive attribute in its favor. Party animals. PlayStation 5 only for Sony exclusive. So if you ignore like the commercialized stuff, if you ignore the availability of games, like essentially Game Pass, and you look at and breaking up. No, if you look at like take money out of the equation and value out of the equation and look at which one is the best place to play games, then there's very little between them. Like very little between them. But you know what? Apple Vision, what, Tony? Why are you talking about Apple Vision? If you're talking about the same thing that they do with the Quest, where you, well, that they're going to do with the Quest soon, where you can play your pancake games on a fake screen, get the fuck out with your nonsense. Like, I see people going, oh, being able to play Xbox cloud streaming stuff on your Quest 3 or your Apple Vision is going to make VR more appealing. No, that's a shit way to play those games. Stick to your console for your pancake games. And use your VR headset for VR games. Nom nom nom. Replicant, you dislike the PlayStation community. There are a bunch of clowns. See, I don't see a difference in the communities at the moment. Both sets are clowns. I find that on Twitter, I just see a lot more Xbox people. So the impression that I get is the Xbox side has more clowns, but it's not true. By the numbers, there's more people on PlayStation, and I think it's Gaz's fault. I think my Twitter feed is just inundated with Xbox clowns because of Gaz. And I think if I could find the PlayStation community, then my perspective would be that all the clowns are over there. See, there is more of a community on the Xbox side, episode 13, kind of. I still find it weird though, because like numerically there must be more people on the PlayStation side just by virtue of it selling more. So there must be a community there, and it's just somehow we don't see them, right? They must exist. I know Xbox are like, from the company level and the executive level, they're a lot more into their social media and influencer spaces, but Xbox has a stronger and more lovely community to you. It definitely is different. There's a different feel between them because the Xbox community is very much more present than the PlayStation one. But consoles on a hardware level are almost the same. Very little difference there. I like the DualSense as a controller. I'm looking forward to Xbox borrowing the features from the DualSense. It's kind of buffery there too. It's bad weather, you know. And I like they're both good consoles. I don't get the people that hate them. I know they're 3 years in. The DualSense doesn't have awful thumbsticks. Disagree. Thumbsticks are fine. I don't have the DualSense Edge with the paddles, so my preferred controller at the moment has to be the Xbox One because I like those paddles. But I'm calm, Tom. I'm calm. Connection issues do bother me, but the position is awful to you. I really hated every PlayStation controller prior to the PlayStation 5. Yeah, Tom, I find both consoles are fine. They're both good to use and they're both similar to use. And I didn't find that last generation, by the way. Like, the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4 were shite at the point that they came out and remained shite forever. These consoles were good at the point that they came out, and they remain decent ways to play. Can't use the Xbox Elite controller, the rumble is too loud. The Xbox controllers are definitely loud. It's not just the rumble, they're really clicky as well. I normally play with headphones, so the noise doesn't bother me, and I've usually got some filtering on the microphone so it doesn't bother the people that are watching, but it is a loud controller. The PlayStation controller, I really didn't like the PlayStation 4 or the PlayStation 3 controllers. They were nasty and they gave me weird hand cramps and were horrible. But the PlayStation 5 controller's fine. It's comfortable. The whole discussion that you get around like asymmetrical versus symmetrical sticks, I have no strong preference. So long as wherever they are, they feel comfortable under my thumbs, I'm happy enough. And both controllers are comfortable. So, happy days. You got cramps on the PlayStation 5? Fair enough. I don't. I did on the PlayStation 4 one, especially if a game excessively used the circle button on the PlayStation 4 controller. Then my hand would be like, fuck this. Space Denizen, you love the DualSense, you're not in love with the VR2 controllers. What about the VR2 controllers are you not in love with? Is this like a tracking issue or a comfort issue? I find them a bit of a pain to put on. When you've got the headset on and you're trying to like, get your hand back into the controller, it gets weirdly complicated. But Tony, don't say that. It's not fair. What's 600 days, Isla? You only played a few evenings in Cornwall. You played a few evenings and you got a hand cramp. What else were you up to in Cornwall that might explain this? Tom, it's your most played game of the year. What's your most played game of the year? I missed it. I need to know. Wait. No, can't find it. Can't find it. What's your most played game of the year? Replicant, you liked the DualShock 3. Which one is that? So the PlayStation 3 initially launched with the 6-axis controller, didn't it? Because they had their legal issues around Rumble. And then it became the DualShock 3 when they reintroduced Rumble. Is that right? I hated that controller. Hate's a strong word, but I'm sticking with it. Nasty controller. I would have much rather they stuck with the big silly boomerang controllers. At least to see if they felt any better, even though they looked stupid. Garfield. Duolingo. 600 days. Oh, okay. Okay. You've done 600 days of Duolingo. As you're really wanting to play Alan Wake 2 because of the reviews and the gameplay you've seen. Yeah, it's definitely reviewing well. I've also heard a lot of people say that it plays quite sluggish, but is Baldur's Gate 3 on Game Pass, or will it be? It's not, and there's been no announcement that it will be. There have been some optimistic rumours that it might. I don't know if there's anything to that or not. But you've already got Baldur's Gate 3. Tomu loves Starfield. I need to get back to Starfield. I just constantly get blown up and I've lost track of what I'm doing in it. I've not properly engaged with any of Starfield's systems. Yeah, but what? Your finger is on the Alan Wake 2 trigger. Alex, did I beat Horizon on the PlayStation VR 2? I did, yes. I did. I streamed the whole thing actually for that one. It's okay. It was a nice showcase of what the headset can do. It had some neat elements to it. But it was a big shame that the combat was what it was. Stuck on those weird circles. You want to go around again and get cheese? No, don't fall for the trap that is achievements. It's impossible. It'll get you playing the shittest of content if you fall for that. It's much better to play the good games wherever they are and just forget all of that. It's a prison. Which isn't necessarily true. Achievements were nice when they came out. The concept was not entirely sinister. But when you want to play across multiple platforms, it becomes a prison and you feel these things that you're feeling now where you're playing a really good game, but something's missing because you want your achievements rather than just having a really good game. You will be, Isla. You'll grow into it. Right. Tom, you really wish that you told me at the beginning that leveling on hard difficulty was much slower. Oh, is it? I also really wish that. I didn't know that the speed of leveling up was impacted by the difficulty selection. I just remember before the game came out, people were saying that it was too easy and you should play on hard mode. So I played it on hard mode. I just keep getting blown up every time I go to space. But I didn't know until this moment that I was potentially leveling up slower. Maybe I'd be all powerful by now if I'd played it on a different mode. Baz, haven't seen you reviews for RoboCop yet. I've seen mixed reviews for RoboCop. There's the only one that I've seen through on Game On Daily calls it RoboFlop and gave it a 5.9. That's COG connected. 5.9 being a shoddy score. Weak narrative, horrific voice acting, awful character models, bugs and loading screens. But I've seen other reviews that haven't come through this site that said actually it's good. And a lot of people played the demo and said that that was good. So you have a different experience. No, you don't, Isla. You're having the same experience. You're playing a good game and you're wishing it was on a different platform because you've fallen for the prison that is achievements. And then when stuff like Alan Wake happens and it's locked to the Epic Store, you're going to get all like, I can't get my achievements, and you're going to miss out on good games. Not that you'd necessarily want to play Alan Wake 2, but that wasn't an impression of you, by the way. Don't hold the voice against me. Space Denizen, you haven't played much RoboCop. The first couple of hours as a fan are good. I've seen some people really like it. Potentially people that like, I don't know how much how important it is to have enjoyed the films or to be familiar with the films to enjoy the game, because it very much tries to stay faithful to what the films were, as from what I gather as someone that hasn't played it. Can't be as good as RoboCop by Ocean on the Specky. Oh, Spectrum RoboCop. I saw a clip of one of the old RoboCops, one of the 2D ones. Can't understand what... He's got one hand holding a gun in front of him and the other hand just seems to be tucked into his own armpit. Very strange way of walking. You just had some orange chocolate. Right. Space Citizen, you think if you're an Alien fan and liked Fireteam, or a Terminator fan and like that game, you're good. See, Fireteam I didn't think was particularly good, but also wasn't, like, nothing about the setup was particularly appealing. Whereas RoboCop's like single player campaign where you can blow up lots of offices is more appealing. I'm sure I'll play it at some point. It looks fun to me. Let the orange chocolate flow through you. Indeed. Indeed. This background, by the way, as no one's going to guess it today, I'm just going to leave that hanging because maybe you will guess it. Let's do the last topic. No, episode 13. They don't have orange chocolate in the Star Wars galaxy. Yes, I know. What did you try? Oh, what did you say for the background, Isla? I missed your try. Also, there's a different OST as well, which nobody's guessed. I have mostly maintained changing the OST every week. I always twist it. No, I wouldn't twist words around and pick an interpretation that suits my ridiculousness. You can't hear the OST. That's okay, you're not missing out. You have no clue what either of them are. Oh, Replicant. I thought you might, because you've definitely seen this one quite recently. I'm not on top chat. I just miss things, it's difficult. Yeah, audio's weird like that, episode 13. If you got it playing out of your phone speaker, then I apologise for all the swearing that I've been teaching your child. They learn at 5 weeks old is when they absorb the swears. Yes, Replicant. The background is from Spider-Man 2. That is Central Park, New York. It's not, but it is Spider-Man. Yes. Is that what you said, Isla? Why are you booing? If you got it right first, you can have all the credit. And yes, last week's background was also Spider-Man 2, and there'll probably be more. It's a very capturable game. Alright, Tony, I will do my best to get your questions in a moment. You were trying hard. Well, there's still an OST for you to guess. Right, Replicant, yes. Yes, it is. It is a place that you go to do good, wholesome Spider-Man things. Right. Let's do the other topic. So, Cliff Blazinski was talking to somebody, I'm afraid I can't remember who, what publication he was doing his interview with. I think the interview was about his comic, his Scrapper the Dog comic, but they talked a bit about games and they talked a bit about Gears of War. And he said some stuff. He said that he would like to see Gears of War, the series, be rebooted in a similar manner to God of War. The OST is definitely not Hades. No, nice guesswork, but it's not. So he'd like to see Gears of War get a reboot. First of all, what do we think of that? What do we think of Gears of War as a series? Should they be rebooting it? And what should it look like? Go, everybody. Space Denizen, you left a dude head down in the sand, twitching in Spider-Man 2. It had you rolling hard. I've seen some interesting things in Spider-Man 2, yes. Not in my own playthrough, but some interesting things. Didn't he say he had Phil Spencer's phone number? No, he said Phil Spencer had his phone number. So if they wanted him to consult and work on it, this is something that Cliff has said many, many times, that he's very much willing to consult and work on Gears of War if Microsoft want him to, but Microsoft don't want him to, or don't give him that phone call. So, what do we think though? Like, putting that aside, do you think Gears of War needs a reboot? We know that Gears of War 6 is in the works, and it's going to carry on the story as it left off from Gears of War 5. But what do you think they need to do to refresh it? What is a God of War like reboot of Gears of War? What does that look like? Because for me, I think I don't think it does need a God of War reboot. So God of War, for context, for those that aren't familiar with the first three, I guess, they changed the perspective of it and they changed the gameplay quite a lot. It was an almost isometric hack and slash game in the vein of, like, I don't know, many hack and slash games. And they changed it to an over-the-shoulder, third-person, slower, heavier game where you no longer jumped or anything. They made quite a lot of changes in God of War. And it worked very well in that series. Thematically, it changed because it went from Greek mythology to Norse mythology. Story-wise, it worked because they closed off the Greek chapter and did good things to bring the series back. There's always going to be people that don't like the change. There's always going to be people that say, like, oh, we're never getting another good God of War in the vein that I enjoyed. But also the new style of God of War was a massive critical and commercial success. So, what does Gears of War need? So, Isla's drinking hot chocolate and has furry teeth. Baz, you're hoping it's going to be first person. Why do you want Gears of War to be first person? Because there's quite a few first person games around already. Tom, you think that it needs something? You played the same for years. You just can it though. You don't want it milking any longer. Well, we'll get to that one in a second. So for me, Gears of War, gameplay wise though, even though it's been going for a long time, there's not really anything else quite like it, is there? And I think gameplay wise, it still works really well. My favorite Gears of War is still the first one. First person in VR, you're absolutely right, Space Denizen. Everything should be rebooted into VR, but we'll take that off the table because it's cheating as an answer. I will always agree with you if that is your answer though. But it's had a really distinct, like nothing plays like Gears of War. Nothing has that kind of roadie run, slam into cover mechanics. But I always liked the first one the most. In the first Gears of War, your guns were deliberately quite inaccurate. Not in the way that Tony calls me inaccurate, but you'd go behind cover, and if you wanted to shoot an enemy that was also behind cover, you'd soon run out of bullets if you were playing stop and pop. If you were trying to stay where you were and just shoot them out from behind their cover, you were playing it wrong. The first game pretty much demanded that you tried to outflank your enemy and get an angle on them before they did the same to you. And that, as well as all the horror elements, so the first game also had various levels where if you were under a light source you were okay, but if you spent any length of time in the dark then you just get eaten. Subsequent games chased spectacle more so, and they became stop and pop, which means like stop and pop as in you'd hide behind cover and you'd poke your head out and shoot anything that needed to be shot, but you never really needed to leave that cover. They'd have a few creatures run around to try and explode you out and keep it fresh, but it never quite retained like the tactical feel of the first one. It never recovered that. But that aside, broadly, the camera perspective, the roadie run and the cover system, I don't really want Gears to drop those in a reboot because they are still quite unique and they do still work very well for me. As you completed all the Gears, but you can't see what else they can do with it. Episode 13 says no at me, and I don't know why. You have to be more specific. Episode 13. Nothing plays like Gears. It still feels like you're running with a massive booty all these years later. Yeah, but is that a bad thing, Tom? Boozy, you played the first one for 6 months solid in the multiplayer. Great days. I've been trying to get people to play Gears 5 with me on Sundays, but no one wants to. The horror feel of the old ones has gone to... Yeah, I liked the horror feel of the old ones. I feel like it was a requirement on the team to chase what Sony were doing, which people didn't like necessarily agree or see it that way, but I always felt like Gears of War dropped its horror in favor of chasing Uncharted and Sony, going for like bombastic spectacle everywhere rather than tight-knit horror. And it did it quite well in some regards, but it's not necessarily what I wanted for Gears. But Tom, you said a thing there that you'd rather than reboot it, you'd like to see them just stop milking the IP. I want to see Gears of War 6. I want to see them finish the story that they're telling. The one that really bothers me, like as a parallel, is Halo 6. Now, Halo 5 wasn't very good, and Halo 4 was even less good to me. But it irks me that Halo 6 didn't happen, because Halo 4 and 5 are telling a story, and then Halo got lore and story-wise rebooted, and we never got that part of the chapter. We never got Halo 6. They didn't conclude the story that they were telling. They just skipped a chunk and changed it because it wasn't going very well in terms of popularity. So episode 13, Halo Infinite, is very good. Halo Infinite does some things well and some things badly, but that aside, Halo 6 is a game that doesn't exist. They scrapped the trilogy after doing 2 parts of it. And if you were to reboot Gears of War right now, you'd essentially be doing the same thing. So they did the first 3 games with Marcus Phoenix and all the rest of it. And then they started telling Kate's story for 4, 5, and 6. And it's clearly planned to be 4, 5, and 6. We don't need Halo 6. I disagree, episode 13. We do. We did need Halo 6. But it's the same thing, like, Kate's story has been fairly underwhelming. Gears 4 and 5 haven't gripped me in a way, but it doesn't mean that you've cut the story off before you finished it, because it might be a good story by the time they wrap it up and conclude it. Halo Infinite is distinctly average for a Halo game, so Halo Infinite has things it does well, and it has areas where it flops. One of the areas where it flops is it doesn't connect to Halo 5. I found its open world fairly terrible. Multiplayer and Forge isn't it though, episode 13. I'm not saying we need Halo 6 multiplayer. I'm talking about the campaign and stuff. Because Halo 6 could have the same multiplayer and campaign. That's not part of the reboot. One thing that, like, I really liked what Halo Infinite did with the Chief's character in particular. But, I don't know. Halo 6 is missing, and Halo 5 never even made it to PC, and that's a shame because it might have wrapped up as a really good trilogy. Might have ended up salvaging itself by telling a good story, but they ditched it and moved on. I don't want Gears of War to do that. But when you said earlier, Tom, that maybe they should stop making Gears of War when they have finished telling that story, yeah, it's like it's a universal truth that everything good is ruined by money. Everything successful will get milked to a point of not being cool anymore. I call it the Terminator theory, because Terminator 1 and Terminator 2 were brilliant, and they should have left the series alone. And every good series is like that, right? It's so rare that you get a good series where they tell a story and it's brilliant and they go, wow, people love that, let's leave it there. It's always, wow, they love that, they'll probably pay more money if we keep on talking, and they keep on talking. And I'd quite like Gears to finish on a high and finish. I'd quite like Halo to finish on a high and finish. But that won't be the case, will it? We're talking the actual game here, episode 30. Yeah, well, the multiplayer hasn't been rebooted. The multiplayer is still the multiplayer, right? They change things and tweak things, but they always did that from Halo to Halo anyway. Replicant, you also like Terminator 3. You didn't like Terminator 3. Terminator 3 was a fun film if you ignored its connection to Terminator 1 and 2. But if you liked Terminator 1 and 2, Terminator 3 was bullshit. Just like, no. It was a smart couple of films before, and then Terminator 3. Why is she liquid and has an exoskeleton? She's lost the advantage of being liquid. Stupid film, and ruined the whole time travel loop. The woman Terminator was nice. Well, Terminator 3 was a fine film if you took it in isolation and forgot that it was connected to Terminator 1 and 2. And then it led on to a TV series with the Terminator that cried. Cried tears. Like, leave it alone. Anyway. Sarah Connor Chronicles. No, that's not the TV series. The TV series had River Tam from Firefly. I don't know her real name, but... And she played a Terminator and she cried and it was awful. More inflatable tit scenes would have made 3 better. Yeah. Right. There's been a few Terminator series. Yeah, there probably has. Firefly was a great film. Serenity was the film. Firefly was the series. Yeah. Could have been if they'd carried it on. That's one that definitely stopped too early. Anyway. Did I have a point? Have I said anything relevant about anything today? No, I don't think so. But we're going to do the questions next, unless anyone... No, actually, I wanted to really quickly ask. So, Gears of War... We've all agreed with me that we don't want to see that rebooted right now. But are there any series that you think would fit a reboot in the vein of God of War? So a reboot where, like, I don't even know how to describe that. We'll start simple. A reboot that like changes essentially the genre or the core, the gameplay fundamentals. Any games where you would like to see Gears of War or God of War? I'm talking about God of War now. Gears of War was the initial topic of conversation, Isla, because the creator of Gears of War had said that they would like to see it rebooted in the manner that God of War was rebooted. So now I'm asking if there are other series that you think should be rebooted, that would suit a reboot, that you'd like to see revived with some new fundamental gameplay mechanics. And Space Denizen has already got the correct answer earlier on, where every game should be rebooted to be virtual reality, but that's cheating. So Tony would like to see Peppa Pig rebooted into, I'm not sure though, he's just given me a name that he enjoys rather than a shift in gameplay. And I don't have any good examples myself. Like, obvious candidates would be like, I don't know, anything that's currently isometric you might want brought down to shoulder level or whatever else. Reboot Spyro and make it 10 good sequels. If you were to reboot Spyro though, so it's no longer a silly platform game, what kind of game would Spyro be if it had that God of War style reboot? StarCraft, and what would you reboot StarCraft into, Tony? You would have a Spyro RPG. That could work. I don't know Spyro lore particularly, but yeah, make it like a really dark, sexy RPG with a dragon, the dragon stuff. Could work, could work. Any stealth game should be remade as shotgun rocket launcher and grenade fest. Tom, you're just flirting with me now. That's true. Yes, they should. I didn't say sex, Isla. I said sexy. It's a different word. Reboot Bloodborne with 120 frames per second. That's not a reboot. But yes. God of War, like, it's a question that comes up time and time again, because it's quite rare that you can take a game that people love and redefine it without upsetting those people. God of War pulled it off. Like, it was magnificent and everybody loves it. I still have issues with Ragnarok, but as a reboot, damn, they did good. It's hard to take something that you hold as like precious, that you revere as a good game, and to tear it down and make it into something else. But I don't know, must work. Like, there must be some potential. Anyway, let's just do the questions, shall we? You want Spyro meets Peppa Pig, the RPG or dating sim? Replicant is shouting out to all of the badges. Yes, there's 11 badges at the moment, which is awesome. So thank you, Replicant, for carrying on as a badger. My eyes aren't good enough to see what your badge looks like right now, but you're trying to hot water bottle nerd. Leave the nerds alone. So I was busy with a hot water bottle, which means I'm going to need to sort the questions out myself. Here we go. We can do it. Hold on, everyone. Hold on. Ah, no, my internet doesn't work. Wait a minute. Chrome has updated. Fuck you, Chrome. Tony posted stuff and you can't select his question. Hang about, there's a question. Bry's not here anymore. Right, who was playing as Wiseloop and Spinach in Among Us? I keep forgetting. So Spinach was Isla and Wiseloop is probably episode 13. Episode 13, are you Wiseloop? Who was Wiseloop then? Who else did we have? Peter Morland must have been Wiseloop. Peter's not here today. Where are you, Peter? I know you barely played. We all barely played. That time where you played was the only time that we played. Peter was Wiseloop. It must have been Peter. He was the only other one there besides Bryce. So. Right, episode 13 asks, why are Starfield caves beautiful? Is it the best HDR you've ever seen? Also, if you were going to give Starfield a rating, please explain why it's A84. Also, are the ducks enjoying the storm? So, episode 13, to answer those multiple questions in sequence. Why are Starfield caves beautiful? Because it has a good lighting system. I don't think the caves are like a high point of the game, but they probably had their moments. Is it the best HDR you've ever seen? Absolutely not. But when they patch in HDR support into the game so that it actually works properly, who knows? Maybe it'll be gorgeous. If you're going to give Starfield a rating, question mark, that's not a question. Please explain why it's A84. It definitely wouldn't be A84. Also, are the ducks enjoying the storm? The ducks, I don't converse with them, and their faces don't really give away their emotional state. But I'm going to say yes, they're enjoying it very much. Peter said in chord that he couldn't make it. Fair, fair. He'll probably come back and see it afterwards though, and know that we missed him. You should converse with ducks. Oh, I try episode 13. Tony, you're not supposed to be here. But I did say you could insert whatever you wanted into the question box, so that's acceptable. Next question, please. Game On Tonio asks, would you rather make a game that is something you love and that it will probably won't be famous but it's yours, or make the next Fortnite COD type of game making me billions? The billions do sound nice, but it depends, Tony. Like, if I made something that I love and it's not famous, but I can survive off of whatever money it makes, then that would be my take. I'm not motivated to earn billions. I'd much rather create something meaningful to me. But being able to afford things would be lovely. So, tricky one, that. What about the rest of you? If you were posed that question, like, make something that you love and live in financial ruin, or make the next Fortnite, sell yourself for money. You can't have both, Baz. Tom, that's the... Yeah, do number 2 and then number 1 after. Yeah. Replicant, you'd earn the billions, then make something you love. Yes, that was my first thought as well. So you're all thinking along the same lines as me, but that's definitely a shortcut out of the question. You're not allowed to take it. You have to choose one or the other. I have many games that I would like to make, and they would definitely take priority for me over things that I thought would be commercially successful, which isn't true because real life says you have to earn money. You have to. A goth farming game. You farm goths, like grow them up in like a field or something. Treat them well and they become... I don't really know what's a successful goth. If only one, then you'd earn the billions, then retire to a beach with your PC. Yeah, and a good sound filter. You've always wanted a Chucky game. You'd love to make a killer doll game where you play as Chucky, or where you try and survive Chucky. Fields of Misery for the goth game. It's there. It's going to be a real thing. I would contribute, but I don't know how to do anything. Very sad. Chucky can piss off. Fair. Right. While that's going... Oh, episode 13. You're so quick to apologise. It's fine. You don't need to like Chucky. I did not make Chucky, any of the films, any of the paraphernalia. You can be as rude as you like about Chucky. A survival game. So you're being hunted by Chucky. Space Denizen, you take your billions and then remake Jet Force Gemini. If you got enough billions, you can get all kinds of things remade. Tell episode 13 to say dickhead. Oh, okay, yeah, that's good advice. So I struggle with this as well, episode 13. I criticize you for saying sorry too much. I say sorry too much. My sister gave me very sagely wise advice that every time you instinctively apologize, substitute the sorry for the word dickhead and see if it feels more appropriate. Most of the time when you're when you're saying sorry out loud, if you were to say dickhead instead, it would probably be fair, because oftentimes, and it's silly, and yeah, it reframes your perspective of a situation and goes, yeah, actually, maybe I'm not sorry. Maybe you're a dickhead. Maybe I was fine in this situation. Try it. Try it. Not at me. You're not allowed to call me a dickhead. But I still say sorry too often rather than dickhead, but I know it would work. As a single player game, not like these multiplayer horror games that we get these days. Asymmetrical stuff, not for me. Say pendejo. What does it mean, Tony? I shouldn't have said it out loud without knowing. But you prick might work better. Yeah, you can I'll allow that episode 13, as long as it's something like slightly hostile and aggressive instead of sorry. Tony asks, I was in Discord waiting for you to let me in, but you never did. It's okay. Tony, that's not true, you liar. All you need to do, if you've actually gone into one of the Discord waiting rooms and I haven't seen, you just need to type, I'm in Discord, and you're welcome back in now, Tony. I'm not deliberately rejecting anyone, but I don't have eyes everywhere all the time. No, Tom, you can't say sorry, dickhead, if you're unsure. You have to flip it to just aggression. So Tony, are you coming on Discord? And while you think about it, next question please. Is knobhead meaningfully different to dickhead? If you're talking like translations from one language to another. I've done this one, yes. Tony hasn't answered yet as to whether he's serious and he's been waiting on Discord or not. Right, Replicant asked. I'm so bored with the native resolution drama on Twitter over devs using DLSS and FSR. Yes, Replicant, that's very small scale drama, shouted very loudly that you can afford to ignore. Typically, we should be encouraging the use of tools like DLSS and FSR, because native 4K is resource intensive, and that resource can be better spent elsewhere if you use good sexy DLSS. See, Isla, you can say sexy DLSS and it doesn't ruin your Spyro game or mean anything sexual. Just means that DLSS is good. FSR, still, generally the industry as a whole at large has been working very hard to get more efficient ways to make a good high quality 4K image, and we should encourage and support that because it is good for us. It means we get more out of our hardware. So next question. Episode 13 is definitely just you that says that one. And even with my goldfish tendencies, I know that it's just you. Oh, that was it. We're done. We are done with the questions. So, unless Tony's going to burst into a Discord waiting room. Oh wait, one's arrived. Would you eat the ducks outside your house if you could? Wait a second, I don't understand. If in a humane way, like a nice meal, or would you miss them? Also, always converse with that. So, what I don't understand about this question, episode 13, is you say, would I eat the ducks outside my house if I could? I don't understand the if I could, because I definitely could. I'm pretty powerful, and I'm quite fast. I could eat those ducks. Plus, they're stupid. Like, they don't recognize me as the apex predator that I clearly am, and they walk towards me. But if I wanted to eat those ducks, then they would have been eaten by now. No, I don't want to eat the ducks. I wouldn't miss them. And yeah, I don't want to eat them. Just, I don't know. Seems cruel, right? So I leave them outside. Ducks are delicious. Eating is all ducks are good for. These are all fair comments. But... wait a minute. I better not eat them. I'm not going to. I'd feel bad. Ducks are annoying, but... am I not hungry? I am pretty hungry, Tom, but I'm also pretty lazy. I'd rather most food was pre-prepared and not walking. You've derailed the show, that's fine. This is how it goes. It's supposed to be derailed. You can't let a cat walk on your touchscreen. That's like an expensive touchscreen. You should take better care of it. So, we are done. Except that Isla has requested that we are done. So I think we're going to run for another couple of hours. Kratos asked, wait a minute, what gifts do I want for Christmas? I don't want a gift for Christmas. But thanks, Kratos, it's kind of you to offer. What's my favourite meal and snack? I don't know, my favourite meal is definitely, so I live by a really good curry house. So I really enjoy various curries from there. I also like a roast dinner. Make a good chili myself. There's lots of good foods. I like food. And snack. Don't know about snack. I guess I'm relatively sensible on not doing too many snacks, but... Episode 13 makes chili good. Tony gifted presents to me for no reason at all and saw a tear run down my cheek, which you collected and it's sitting on your desk as a reminder that I'm not a robot. We have to... yeah, it's true, Tony. Tony did send me a gin and a rum and they were delicious. They were delicious. There's many things that I want. But anyway, I don't have an answer for the Christmas question. So, if that's the last one, then we'll find a way to run through another 2 hours. No one's going to watch any Bleach today. Chips, cookies, ice cream. Are you American, Kratos? Do you mean chips like crisps? I like... do you know, cookies would probably be my choice of those. If I was thinking right now, do I want chips, do I want a cookie, or do I want ice cream? I think right now I probably would fancy like an apple and cinnamon cookie or something like that. Yeah, that would work for me. Potato chips, crisps. Yeah, I'd eat them from time to time if I have a salt craving, but I can't remember the last time that I actually ate a cookie, but that would be my choice of those three. Replicant would take a packet of crisps. Yeah. Tear reservoirs are filled up with salty shouldn't read Tom comments. I'm just gonna pause. No, it's okay. That was actually reasonable, I think. I think it was reasonable. I missed your pumpkin question. What was your pumpkin question? Kratos, you used to eat anything with snacks. Loved all of it. So what's your favourite snack, Kratos? And is it pumpkins? Wait a minute. Oh, there's a question from Replicant. So, what did I carve into my pumpkin and why was it a duck? I've never carved a pumpkin. My doctor says I'm not allowed sharp objects. So, pumpkins are too sharp for me. I've actually never carved a pumpkin. When I was like at school in an art class, we did carving some, I don't even know what the material was. And I stabbed my finger and it squirted blood across the room. That was fun. Yeah, I've not been allowed the sharp thing since. Anyway, did we get to the bottom of what's the difference between a knobhead and a dickhead? Because that was important. I don't think we did. I'm scrolling up and I can't see it. We'll come back to that. That can be a topic for next week. Right. We're going to end there. That's run long enough. Tomorrow, streams are back with some Baldur's Gate. Why? No, Isla. No. No. You misunderstand. The dickhead knobhead distinction isn't in terms of how we would use the words over here. It's in terms of the translation. Like, if you're doing a direct translation of Tony's word, which I'm not going to say out loud again. But we can discuss that another time. Topics for next week, which won't happen because I'll absolutely forget by then. So, for now, the background is Spider-Man 2. The OST is Destiny 2. Why is the OST Destiny 2? Because the composer has worked at Bungie for 24, 25 years, no longer works at Bungie, and it seemed fitting to have some of his work in the background. Mike Salvatore or something like that? I don't know. Okay, we're going into weird knob conversations and we'll finish there. Baldur's Gate tomorrow, probably go live on Saturday, some other things happening. Thank you, everybody. I don't know how to close this show still. All this time, this is episode 68 and I still don't know what to say, so I'm just going to ramble on and slowly